What's up, Herminators? Hermes here. Sorry for not posting for a week and a half long. A lot of things happened for the past week. I had a lot of exams to do, and also my dog did pass away, so I really had to get my shit together to finish everything. So I really apologize for not posting for a week and a half long. But in order to make up for it, I'm gonna show you guys a mid-range paladin deck that I have been doing really well with and climbed pretty far during my free time. And also, I'm gonna compare it to the Dragon Paladin deck that I've also been playing. Although I didn't have that much success, although I didn't really expect too much of it because a lot of the Blackrock Mountain card still hasn't come out yet. But I'm gonna compare it to the original mid-range Paladin deck so you guys can see what it's missing and what kind of downfall it has and what kind of potential it can bring out in the future. So let's first look at Trumps to Battle deck. I really recommend this deck in the current meta right now because it does really well against Zoo, Troll Warriors, Druids, and even the Mirror matchup as long as you don't screw up. I would say this deck's harder matchups are the Face Hunter and the Temple Warrior with the Grim Patrons. The reason for that is because Face Hunter, if you don't draw into your heals early, like the anti-heal bot or even lay on hands, then you're pretty much not going to win the game, and especially you don't draw into your Slug Belchers as well, since you have nothing to protect you with. I would say the Grim Patron Warrior is another hard matchup because the Grim Patron has 3 health, and in order for us to fully clear it, we need to use the Equality and Consecration combo, because Consecration alone does not clear it because Grim Patron has 3 health and Consecration only does 2, so it just keeps multiplying it. So we do need Equality, and what's even more terrifying is that that deck runs 2 sets of those copies. So if you wipe out the first combo, they have a potential of using the second combo before you finish them off. But overall, this deck is really strong because we have a lot of tech cards to counter a lot of things. We have Zombie Chows here to fend off early aggression, Iron Beak out, silence any threats like Sylvanas Windrunner, Big Game Hunter counter Dr. Boom because a lot of people play that now, so it's a really good meta card. And we have Antique Healbot here to sustain ourselves enough to beat the aggro matchups. Sludge Belcher, I could consider this as a tech card as well because it fends off a lot of aggression from aggro matchups, and usually the Face Hunter has a hard time to deal with this card, so it's really essential in the current meta right now. The Black Knight is a really good tech card in the current meta right now because I've been seeing a lot of Sludge Belchers, Sengens, and for Druids I've been seeing a lot of Druid of the Claw. It's also Ancient Lore, and for some reason I'm seeing Sunwalkers again, so the Black Knight gives amazing value. So as you can see, this deck right here is very consistent. It has a little bit of everything, so it's really good against all matchups in my opinion. And it does have some harder matchups that I said before, like the Grim Patron Warrior and also Face Hunter, but you also have some decent win rate against them as well. That's what makes this deck so good, so it doesn't have any true weaknesses. So this deck is very solid. What about the Dragon Paladin deck? I wasn't expecting too much of the Dragon Paladin deck because all the Blackrock Mountain cards hasn't come out yet, but I can tell you it's really susceptible to the aggro matchups. So this is the Dragon Paladin deck I've been playing for the past couple of days, and this I can say is one of the more consistent Dragon Paladin decks. I can say it's actually pretty fun at the same time because who doesn't like using Dragon Consort and summoning Ysera in turn 7, right? So this is Core Nico's Dragon Paladin deck. If you don't know who he is, he's actually the first guy to make it to Legend rank this season on NA. So if you want to check out his Twitch, click the description below. And he's actually a very inventive kind of guy because he makes a lot of weird decks, but it works at the same time. So definitely check him out for more decks. So as you can see here, it does look really similar to the mid-range Paladin deck I showed you before. The only thing that I don't like is that it's not running Lay on Hands, but I guess running Azure Drakes does compensate for it because of the card draw. But we don't get the healing, so it's really vulnerable to the aggro matchups. We do have one anti-heal bot, but I don't think it's enough against the Face Hunter because we don't have any sufficient type of taunts. The only substitution I made to this deck is that it used to run Mind Control deck, but I replaced it with the Coghammer because I really think this deck really needs a taunt to beat the Face Hunter. So the Coghammer does provide me a sufficient type of taunt because if you synergize Coghammer with a buff Blackwing Technician, it's actually a very strong taunt, and the Face Hunter would have a really difficult time to get past this. And even against control matchups or even Zoo, they have a lot of difficulties getting past this as well. So after tomorrow, after the cards from Blackrock Mountain comes out, it would have a little bit of modifications. I would take out Pilot Shredder for what's that card called? The Hungry Dragon, because I feel like the Hungry Dragon is a lot better just because it's a dragon. It can synergize with Dragon Consort and also Blackwing Technician. The reason why a Hungry Dragon is better because if you play Blackwing Technician on turn 3 and you play Hungry Dragon on turn 4, you're pretty much on curve and you have 2 huge sticky ass minions on the board that's really hard for your opponent to deal with. So that's why I would replace a Pile Shredder for the Hungry Dragons. And since we have additional 2 dragons, I feel like I can take out the 2 Azure Drakes or the 2 Sludge Belchers, just so that we can fend off the aggression from the Hunters and also Zoo at the same time. I know I've been talking about how this deck is really bad against the aggro matchup, but truth be told, it is actually quite vulnerable at this current state. But after tomorrow's Blackrock Mountain set, is going to be really good. And against the control matchups, you shouldn't be too worried because you have another late game card called Zero, and you can potentially summon on turn 7. And since the original Paladin deck, like the mid-range Paladin deck, is pretty good against the control matchups anyways, so you wouldn't have too much problem with it, especially now that you have Zero to counter them as well. So these are the 2 Paladin decks I'm going to show you guys today, and I have 2 additional gameplay videos, one of the Dragon Paladin deck and one of the Trump's Paladin deck. And I really recommend Trump's Paladin deck to be played on the ladder right now because it's very consistent. I was surprised at the same time too. And I know the Blackrock Mountain set would not impact that deck at all, so it would remain consistent throughout the whole season. And after tomorrow's Blackrock Mountain set, I can imagine the Dragon Paladin deck is going to be a lot better because of the Hungry Dragon, leaving out more room to put taunts in like the Sludge Belcher because you can now remove Azure Drakes for it, as I said before. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys the 2 gameplay videos and see if you guys want to play these decks on the current ladder. And I'll see you guys in the gameplay videos like always. So we're going to start off with the Dragon Paladin deck. So we are up against a warrior. The Temple Warrior that I said before will be a problem, but if it's Control Warrior, I guess I'll have an easier time. It's just that if I run into Brawl or not. If he gets a good Brawl, then I pretty much lose the game, but overall, if I don't overextend and waste my resources, I should be okay. And also, I made a couple of substitutions in this deck. I took out 2 Knife Jugglers and 1 Muster for Battle for 1 Ironbeak Owl, 1 Mind Control Tech, and also 1 Lay on Hands. I feel like I need the healing, and also Muster for Battle is really lackluster. So yeah, I thought it would be a pretty good substitutions. And right here, there's nothing much I can do. I can just put out my Zombie Chow and my Silverhand Recruit and hit him in the face with it. And he did play Armorsmith, which is a little annoying because I can't really clear it, and he will be benefiting off the Armorsmith's effect because I can remove it right away, and I'll probably have to hit him a couple of times in order to remove it, but I will ignore it for now. The warrior might have some cards to proc his effect, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. I was planning to play the Alder in order to do like efficient trading so that he doesn't get that much armor, but I don't think that's worth it. I don't know if he's a Temple Warrior or Control Warrior yet, so I'm not 100% sure, so it's not too good to waste my resources. So he played Unstable Ghoul. This tells me he is Temple Warrior. So right now I immediately think that I should owl the Unstable Ghoul just because I can establish board control, because so that the Unstable Ghoul doesn't wipe out all my Silverhand recruits, which would be pretty bad for me at the same time. And I make another Silverhand recruit right here. I could have played a Zombie Chow here, but I don't really want to overextend, so I'm just gonna make a Silverhand recruit. So those are one of the things I could have done. Okay, so he's coining in something. Let's see what he's coining in. Okay, so he coined in a Grim Patron. I think that's pretty good for him because I don't have an efficient way to deal with it, but that's pretty ballsy at the same time. Let's say I have True Silver Champion, it's immediately destroyed. So that sort of is a misplay from him, so he's not respecting True Silver Champion. I am going to play Dragon Consort just because it's mana efficient and it gives me a big body on the board. I am not going to play Elder, I don't think it's a good choice. And it just clear that Unstable Portal and just try to ignore the Grim Patron, because that's the only thing I can do, right? Because I don't have a True Silver Champion. So sad, so sad. Ooh, the unfortunate thing is he did play Warsong Commander, so he is going to get somewhat a full board clear, which is really, really bad. And since I don't have background music, I'll roleplay the Grim Patron. Everybody get in here. Everybody get in here. Man, that thing is so annoying. I'm glad I muted it. But it's amusing at the same time, I guess. Oh man, he has to execute too. So it is a full board clear. But it's not that hard to deal with because this board is so easily consecratable, and this guy is not respecting consecrate either, and that Warsong commander is not that hard to deal with. I mean, I can just play my zombie chow and most likely potentially going to trade into it and remove it. So I'm in a pretty good board state right now because I know he doesn't have one Grim Patron. He does play Emperor Tourism, which is pretty good for him because I can't remove it either. I guess I can Eldor and make good use of it, but really I'm in a pretty bad position because let's say he has a lot of combo pieces, right? And now I can actually play the 7 mana Ysera. And since I know that he used his execute on my Dragon Consort, I know for a fact it's gonna take him a while to take care of my Ysera. So I know I'll at least get value from Ysera for a couple of turns. So I hope I get Awakening here because I still can't take care of that Emperor Tourism. That's only if he can take care of my Ysera though. Okay, so he played another Unstable Ghoul. And let's see. Okay, he has Deathbite and he opted to hit face. So this shows that he doesn't have execute, or he would have used his Deathbite onto my Ysera and execute it. But he didn't choose to do that. I guess hitting face is okay, but that makes me a little bit scared that maybe he has combo or something like that. So I will attack into the Unstable Ghoul and play Tyrion. Why wouldn't I, right? That thing is huge. And he doesn't have execute to take care of my Tyrion, and Tyrion protects me from any lethal type of combo like Grommash, Taskmaster plus Inner Rage or something like that. Crazy stuff, because Grommash is 7 cost right now because of Emperor Tourism. So this guy did a pretty sick move here. He replaced his Deathbite with another Deathbite just to use his Death Rattle to get rid of the Divine Shield. And okay, so he uses Taskmaster to ping it so he can trade it in with the Emperor Tourism to remove it. So this is a little bit more scary right here because I'm very vulnerable to any type of combo. And he did have a Taskmaster, so right now I should really trade into the 2/2 and lay on hands myself just so I can get out of any type of lethal range. He only has 2 cards. I hope he doesn't have lethal. If he does have lethal, that would be pretty sick. I'm probably going to use my Ashbring on his face to remove all that armor just so he doesn't Shield Slam my Ysera, because he can potentially run Shield Slam in his deck, and I wouldn't really like that. And yeah, I'm just going to keep getting more value from Ysera, as I said before. I think I already got like, let's see, 1, 2, 3 cards from Ysera. That's already pretty deadly. But I do have 10 cards in my hand, so I will be overdrawing and discarding my next draw, which is pretty sad. I miscalculated. Well, I didn't miscalculate. I do need to lay on hand, so that was inevitable. So this guy does play Dr. Boom and uses Deathbite to hit my Ysera just so he can bank on using bombs to destroy my Ysera, which did not work out to his favor. So he does Whirlwind right here. So that was like a risky move that he really wanted to do. But this board is pretty easy for me to take care of. I'm just gonna play the Eldor and make the Dr. Boom of 1/5, and just gonna play 2 of my Darkwing Technicians because 1, they're very hard to remove, and I can use my Ashbringer to trade into that 3/3, which can be pretty good at the same time. I don't really need to worry about the other Grim Patron, the 3/2 one. It's because I'm summoning creatures that he can't trade with in order to like duplicate more of the Grim Patrons. Because once he trades into one of the Technicians, they're not going to survive, so they're not going to duplicate. So I don't have to worry that much. So he plays a Shield Maiden here. So this is not really the typical Temple Warrior, because this is more control-ish, with just Grim Patron teched in. So this board is very consecratable. I'm going to probably trade in my Eldor into the Shield Maiden just to make it a 5/2, and trade in one of my Technicians into Dr. Boom just so I can consecrate the whole board and do a full board clear. And that is what I am going to do. Oh yeah. And consecrate, baby. Man. I'm probably just gonna summon 2 of my Laughing Sisters just so I'm establishing more board and stuff like that. And he's looking pretty bad right now. He's in a pretty bad spot. I'm in a pretty good board state. I have 4 sticky creatures and 2 that cannot be targetable, which is pretty sick at the same time. I have a lot of 3/5s on the board. I would never have seen the day. So this is pretty much game in my opinion, because he only has one card in his hand and I have so much more card advantage. So he does concede, and that is how I dominate with Dragon Paladin. Next game is a game against Cancer with Trumps to Battle deck. So I got Zombie Chow in my hand, so I don't really need to mulligan that. Usually if I have Zombie Chow in my hand, I feel pretty safe because it trades a lot against the Face Hunter. Muster for Battle, very good as well because I can use Slice Justice, but it's sort of vulnerable to Unleash the Hounds, but it's a risk I have to take. Consecrate is good as well because if I don't want to clear anything, if I don't want to trade anything and I want to push for damage, I can do it with Consecration. He does play Abusive Sergeant, so I can just play Zombie Chow to potentially trade into it, unless he destroys it somehow, some way, which he is not going to. Because as we know, Face Hunters only go for face. And we know this is not mid-range because he played Abusive Sergeant. So right here, I'm just gonna coin in and use my Life Justice to take care of that Abusive Sergeant and use my Zombie Chow to hit him in the face. Because the only reason why I did this is because if he does Explosive Trap, I don't want my Zombie Chow to die right away. Although my 3 1/1s are going to get destroyed no matter what. But having the Life Justice in hand really reassures me because I can do some efficient trading even to his charge minions because most of their creatures are 1 health, right? And obviously he uses the Eagle Horn bow to hit me in the face because what's new about Face Hunter? They only go for face, right? They don't even see my minions unless I put down a taunt. Damn, man. But yeah, I know some of you guys might think playing against a Face Hunter is boring and you might not want to see this, but I'm just going to show you how close it is between, like how close the game is between a Face Hunter and a Paladin and how a taunt really makes a difference. This trap is probably going to be Explosive Trap. And this is probably going to wipe out my whole board other than my Zombie Chow. I'll be really surprised if this is a Snake Trap, but nobody's that stupid to play a Snake Trap on this board, right? But if it is Explosive Trap, Zombie Chow is really good to be alive just in case he plays like an Arcane Golem, I can at least trade it in with my Zombie Chow rather than using my face and another token because that would really hurt. And I do have Pilot Shredder on board. 4 damage is quite a bit because it allows me to push for even more damage. I can potentially play Select Belcher next turn, which can fend off a lot of aggression and would take him forever to take care of that unless he has Iron Beak Owl. If this guy has Iron Beak Owl, then that'll be pretty dangerous. Okay, let's see what he's going to play here. I just hope it's not charged. Okay, so he plays Unleash the Hounds for some reason. And he quick shots, so okay. Whew, Unstable Ghoul. Just got cock blocked. Okay, so he's probably gonna use his weapon to clear that. I don't think he's gonna use any type of charge minions to clear it because he loses it right away because of the Unstable Portal. No, Unstable Ghoul, I mean. Fuck, I keep saying Unstable Portal for some reason. Okay, so I did heal him for 5, which is pretty disappointing, but I do have 2 Sludge Belchers, and he's gonna have a terrible time to remove even the first one. Okay, let's see how he's gonna remove the first one. Is he gonna run his Wolf Rider into it? That's pretty nasty. So I'm not really an expert in Face Hunter, so someone please explain this move to me. Is it because he gets an extra durability so he doesn't waste mana next turn to use his weapon or something like that? I have no idea because I don't really play Face Hunter, so I don't know if this move is legit, but it looks legit to me because I can't really say anything about it. So he does owl my Sludge Belcher, which is not really a big deal because I do negate one of his weapon durability with my taunt. And he plays a Haunted Creeper, which is not that threatening at the same time. So I'm at a pretty high life total right now. Even if he has Kill Command, he's not really going to kill me. So I can easily trade in my Sludge Belcher into the Iron Beak Owl and then put up more board pressure. So I'm just gonna play Dr. Boom because Dr. Boom is just OP and does so much damage. And that Haunted Creeper is not that threatening. So the most damage he can do this turn is probably like 5 plus 7, 8 damage, while I can do like a lot more damage next turn. Oh no, he has Eagle Horn Bow, so he's gonna do more than that. Whoa. It hit the spider, now there's even more spider legs. But luckily I have Consecration, right? So that's pretty much insurance for me. So I'm gonna trade it into the Hunt Creeper and then just Consecrate. I do miss out on 1 damage, but not really a big deal at this point, because I'm already so much far ahead. I hope I didn't miss lethal here. No, I didn't. There's no way I missed lethal here. So he's in a pretty bad spot. If he can't, like, put me down to 0 this turn, he's not gonna do it ever. Oh my god, quick shot. So if he draws into kill command here, I'll be so pissed. Oh, okay, thank god. Oh my god, just a knife juggler. Thank god, thank god. Holy shit. If that was kill command, I'd be pissed. See, this is how close the game is. So without any sludge belchers, like the Dragon Paladin doesn't have any sludge belchers, so in this game, they would have lost no matter what, and Dragon Paladins are known to need more taunts. So tomorrow's Blackrock Mountain set would really set them pretty high on the tier list. And I'll see you guys next time. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay gold, Herminators.